Hey guys, welcome to my next Cyberpunk challenge run. You guys voted for this on the recent poll, so in this video, we'll be figuring out if I can beat Cyberpunk 2077 as Jacket from Hotline Miami. This run will be a little more lenient in terms of rules compared to past runs, since Jacket uses an utterly massive amount of different weapons across Hotline Miami. My first rule is that I'm generally not allowed to avoid combat. I'll allow for stealth in certain situations, and I still think that's in character for Jacket since he was one of the 4 Ghost Wolves while he was in the military. But as per Jacket's usual style of operation, anytime I see a criminal, even if they aren't attacking us, we have to brutalize them in the most violent way possible. In addition to that, I'm not allowed to use any cyberware except for the Berserker operating system since Jacket doesn't have any cybernetic enhancements, but he basically has a natural Berserker state, so that one gets a pass. Lastly, I of course have to dress like Jacket and use weapons he uses in Hotline Miami, or at least something close, and anytime I can choose not to answer a dialogue prompt, I'll opt to not speak to reflect Jacket's being a mute protagonist. Speaking of getting clothes to represent Jacket's outfit, Night City's got a lot of admittedly pretty cool clothes and outfits that I definitely wouldn't have the confidence to wear in real life, but the real world's got some awesome clothes and outfits too, thanks to Project Orochi, a street brand wear that's got some awesome clothing designs based on some of my favorite titles like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and of course Cyberpunk. Half of my entire gaming channel is based on dressing my character like characters from Dark Souls, Elden Ring, or Cyberpunk, and doing challenge runs like that, so a partnership with Orochi seemed like a perfect fit, since now I can rock some Dark Souls or Cyberpunk gear in real life. I myself haven't really had the confidence to wear anime or video game graphic design clothes in public up until recently, maybe the last 4 or 5 years, but now that I do feel confident enough to wear shirts and hats and stuff like that with my favorite characters on them, I can see a lot of stuff that Orochi is producing that I'd like to wear. I like this Bloodborne-inspired Bergenworth sweater polo. I'd love to have this Castlevania-inspired Belmont sweater since I unfortunately don't have any Castlevania clothes to my chagrin. And I really like the subtlety of the Farron's Watchdog crew neck. Like, it's a good Dark Souls shirt, but even if someone doesn't know Dark Souls, it's still auspicious enough to just be a high-quality shirt with a nice design. The clothes seem premium while also allowing you to tastefully show off your love for a series you enjoy like Castlevania and Elden Ring while also looking nice. What's even better is that they actually have a Discord server that you can join to make suggestions. On November 28th, Project Orochi dropped a new collection, so for the coming holiday season, if you're looking for a great present to give to a Soulsborne enjoyer, or something to receive, Orochi's new line will definitely give you a cool bonus. To help you get your hands on some great looking and feeling gear inspired by some of your favorite games and characters, from December 1st to December 7th, you can get up to 10% off using my special link. Be sure to use my special promo code, CHUMBATA10, for that special 10% discount. This could be your opportunity to rock some fashion souls of your own, or rep the based Belmont clan, and I know I'm planning to get something for myself for sure. Thank you to Project Orochi for being my channel's first ever sponsor. I hope this integration did your awesome clothing line justice. Now, in addition to looking like Jacket, dressing like Jacket, and acting like Jacket, I'll also be coming up with a completely unique build for this run, which of course ends up as a jack of all trades specialized in adrenaline. Also, because it's the perfect ending for Jacket and the only ending that makes sense for him, we'll be doing the Don't Fear the Reaper ending, but don't get too excited yet because there is a downside to it that kinda sucks. I'd really appreciate any likes, comments, or subscriptions you'd be willing to give this video or the channel. Any support from you guys helps the channel and the community to grow for more awesome and fun content like this. Alright, let's start the run. To start, we begin the game on very hard difficulty. I go Street Kid background since, while I think Nomad could be a good choice as well, none are one-to-one with Jacket, and I thought Street Kid was a better fit for the vibe. I make Jacket as closely as I can. Here are our starting stats, mostly physical to nobody's surprise, and we do the Street Kid intro before getting into the Sandra Dorset mission. After beating some scavs to death with my bare hands, I bust out my pistol and drop the rest of these scum-sucking Soviets before Jackie takes out their little leader and we save Sandra. Maybe she'll want to be my girlfriend now, being that I saved her from Russian gangsters. The driving section wasn't difficult, but it was pretty cool to imagine Jacket doing a drive-by shootout high-speed chase. I wake up the next morning, meet with Beard 1.0, we head to Vix, I get the only cyberware implant I can't not have equipped, I meet with Dex, and then I started the All Foods quest. Normally when you do this quest, you can choose to fight Royce, you can use Meredith Stout's card and help Militech to ambush the Maelstromers, or you can pay out of pocket and avoid the whole fiasco, but the Jacket run helped me to realize that there's actually another way to do this.
It's killing time!
Yeah. Kinda crazy, but I never really realized that you can just walk in and kill everyone, and I think that approach is perfect for Jacket. I got my hands on a shotgun during the Sandra Dorset quest, and let me tell ya, with a playstyle like Jacket's where you're constantly moving around, hyper-aggressive, and always in close, there's no better weapon to have. With a little finesse, I take out Royce, take out some Tiger Claw gang goons later, and then I go and meet Ev at Lizzie's, do the BD section, and then we start the heist. We get to Konpeki, break into Yorinobu's room and grab Johnny, watch Yorinobu kill Saburo using the Speed Force, and then I grab Saburo's knife, his katana, and use them and Yorinobu's pistol to wreak havoc on the Arasaka thugs. The weapons I got from the Arasaka family, each a weapon Jacket has used at some point in Hotline Miami, were all pretty powerful, so this section was a breeze. I beat the armored guy, got the elevator keycard, went down to the lobby, killed all the trash there, and even tore the Arasaka Minotaur apart before escaping with Beard 1.0. While driving away, I shoot down the pursuing drones, Beard gets nuked in San Francisco, a Russian mobster shoots me, we do the Johnny stuff, just gonna skip over that, and then we briefly wake up and help Goro fight off these criminal ninja wannabes. With Jacket on the verge of death, Goro takes us to Vic saves us, Richard makes his first appearance and asks us if we like hurting other people, and then, with access to the full open world, we go and collect our outfit for the run. I know there's a mod on PC for actual Hotline Miami masks, and was actually tempted to buy Cyberpunk on PC just to use this mod, but I decided against it. I think part of the fun of these runs for me is trying to use what's already in the game to get as close as possible to the authentic, genuine article. For that, I went with this. There are masks that cover up more of your face, but this is the only one that actually has facial features like an animal mask. It has a very apparent nose and mouth. That's why I decided that this was closer in spirit, even if it doesn't look as one-to-one. While out clothes shopping, I did some suspected organized crime activities, in part for XP and cash, but also primarily because killing thugs and criminals and gangsters is what Jacket does, any chance he can get. I also did some organized crime activities to get my hands on some iconic weapons I could use to represent some of Jacket's weapons of choice, such as the Sovereign double-barrel shotgun and the Moron Labe to represent the M16. Satisfied with our outfit and our current loadout, I meet with Takamura to get his quest started, meet with Judy, and start slaughtering my way through the Tiger Claws in clouds. Again, the simple brutality of Jacket surprises me. You're incentivized not to fight your way through because you have to deposit all of your weapons, but that's not a problem for Jacket because Jacket is the weapon. When I get to Woodman, I immediately gun him down with a QB I nabbed along the way, then I escape clouds, finally get my first Berserker OS, and then I beat the crap out of Fingers to get a lead on Evelyn's location. After doing the Death's Head BD section, Judy and I arrive at the EC factory Ev's at, and I systematically slaughter my way through. I kept getting this awful glitch throughout the run where I could never get out of combat, meaning I would have to clear an entire section in a single go with no checkpoints, and that made it really frustrating when I die at the very end. But regardless, we made it through. Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the last time we dealt with this glitch, but we were able to save Evelyn anyways, Judy and I reviewed her BDs, and I go to the afterlife and pay Rogue for info on the whereabouts of Anders Hellman. She flicks me the deets, and then I meet up with Panam who agrees to help me with Hellman if I help her with Nash. We grab her gear from the Aldecaldo's camp, ambush and murder a bunch of Raffen to get Panam's Thornton back, as well as the package for Panam's deal, and then Panam asks me to help her get revenge on Nash. Jacket, knowing a thing or two about paying back debts and getting revenge, eagerly agrees. I was expecting this section to be tough, but with some pretty heavy firepower and Jacket being the unstoppable monster that he is, we were actually able to make short work of Nash and Raffen with relative ease, at which point I chopped Nash to ribbons with a katana. Panam and I rest for a beat after completing the deal, and then the next morning, we head out, rig the power station to explode, Panam uses a rocket launcher to blow the Kang Tao AV right out of the sky, and then I head in to rescue Scorpion and Mitch. After knocking out the missile defense system, taking out the Kang Tao robots was actually pretty easy just by hipfire mag dumping them, and though Scorpion bitted in the firefight following the crash, I blow this guy's head off and save Mitch. With Panam now sharing my pain of losing a friend, we set out to wipe out Kang Tao and kidnap Hellman. True to Jacket's modus operandi, I just charge the Chew Station and pulverize anyone or anything in my way. We take Anders, he tells me I'm as good as dead, and since I've already gotten the call from Takemura, I go with him to meet with Oda. Oda is as useless here as always, so we go to Wakako, Takemura formulates a plan, and then I went ahead and did some side quests while waiting for Takemura to call me, running out of things to do after I killed everyone in this suspected organized crime activity and get the headsman, our not double-barrel shotgun iconic stand-in, as well as doing this crime activity and getting the buzzsaw, which will act as our Uzi for this run. After doing a couple more crime activities, I just decided to go to Pacifica and meet with Placide, and he sent me into the GIM to kill all the animals to get to De Camionette. Animals? What are we, in a jungle? Fighting through them was actually kinda tough, and I had some horrendous lag spikes here for some ungodly reason. But alas, I made it through and faced Sasquatch.
Come at me! Bring it! You like that? Got him! Ready for some fun?
No, D.
Seed? What's going on?
That pig tried to scramble you. Keep focused. But I cannot hold him long. He in same subweb with alpha animal. Deal with him. Faster! When? Oh! Now the Watcher.
Ever the oratory master, Jacket walks into the room with the Netwatch agent and immediately blows him away, and then I head back to Placide and Brigitte, we do more Johnny stuff, Alt agrees to help us with Mikoshi, and then I end up wiping out the entirety of the Voodoo Boys for trying to betray me and use me. Even the Placide fight was a joke, I just sat here and shot him, and then at about 20% health, I just marched around the corner, face tanked him mag dumping his shotgun into my forehead at point blank range, stalked him down, and beat him to death with a lead pipe. Still waiting for that call from Takemura, I go ahead and also nab Fenrir, our MP5, and before heading out to get our next weapon, I finally get the long-awaited call. I do some hacking or something, and Takemura tells us about the plan to hack the Arasaka float and then meet with Hanako. Now he's gonna go do some reconnaissance on the Arasaka float compound, so I'm back to waiting for him to call. In the meantime, I basically did the entirety of the first Perales quest investigating Mayor Holt's death. I planned to use River's revolver Crash as my revolver, but spoiler alert, I never got around to actually going to the dinner at the end, but hey, at least his missions kept me busy. After wasting time doing some gigs, Takemura-chan calls again, and I immediately meet with him, and then he sends me into actual literal hell. I actually legitimately fought my way through the entirety of the Arasaka compound in a battle that, at 8 times speed, actually looked like something straight out of Hotline Miami, but again I got the glitch where I never got out of combat, so after about 20 minutes of non-stop combat, I died and had to start all over. From there, I was a little more tactical, still without avoiding an aggressive approach, and I was able to finish the mission pretty seamlessly, all things considered. While waiting to do Play It Safe, I went ahead and did River's whole quest to find and rescue Randy, still intending on using Crash as my revolver at this point, and snagging Tinkerbell to be the taser of this run, even though I never actually ended up using it. With all that stuff done, and a couple of Cyber Psycho missions and random gigs to hold me over, I get the call, and from here, the main story is pretty much a blitz. For Play It Safe, I take down the first 2 snipers using my Ghost Wolves Special Forces training, but for the 3rd sniper, I just rage through everyone with the MP5, and can I just say that the Fenrir is ridiculously good? It has a reputation of being good, but man does it live up to it. Finally, with all the snipers down, it's time for Oda, and I come not just bearing my new MP5, but also a Kalashnikov and a hammer.
You should have quit and left the city. Distance. What's the distance? Stay away from his blade. He will slice you like fish. You leave, Tamatenoka! Takemura, you pay for this! Still you struggle. Let us try another way. Beware, he will activate camouflage. The group breaks in the light. Shine! We must settle this quickly, toy boy. Oda thinks he fights for the good cause. No, you fight for what is right and true. You must stand on your feet. You pay for this. You pay for this. Shine! You pay for this! You pay for this! You pay for this! Do not kill him. This was his duty. B, what is your status?
I managed to.
Oda, is he dead?
He's breathing. For now.
I decided to spare Oda, even to my own surprise. I was thinking that Jacket is merciless against his enemies, he dehumanizes them, so Oda gets stomped. But when I actually stopped and thought about it, Oda was incapacitated, and Jacket had Takemura pleading for mercy over the comms. Jacket may be a psychopathic killer, but he still has a sense of honor, and I'm not sure he'd so easily kill a friend of an ally that no longer posed a threat. Compounding on that, Jacket is highly suggestible and may be prone to taking Takemura's plea as a 50 blessings command, so Oda lives. Alright, Takemura kidnaps Hanako, we meet with her, Arasaka ambushes us, I go back and save Takemura, despite not being able to see a single thing 90% of the time, and then we meet up with Hanako's proxy, which opens up the end of the game. I pass out and Richard saves my life and takes me to the Pistis Sophia, and, because we're doing the solo ending, I go to the afterlife and let Richard take over, he goes off and parties instead of doing what he was supposed to do, at some point in the night he tells Rogue about our situation, and Rogue agrees to help us. We head to the Ebonike, and I just murder a dozen people before climbing the bodies up to Grayson, at which point I assist him in joining the pile. We get Johnny's gun in his car, Richard and I come to a mutual understanding to make him also Beard 2.0, and then it was time to meet Hanako and finish the game. I'm at my limit here. No matter who you are, bearing too much weight inevitably leads to the collapse of everything. Richard and I decide to get a grip and assault Arasaka Tower, just the two of us in one last blaze of glory. I died in 2 hits. Yeah, at this point I was only about level 30, so I was getting stomped here. Normally I'd hunker down and grind to max level, but I'm dealing with some time-sensitive stuff IRL, so here's where that sucky thing I mentioned at the beginning comes in. I had to bump the difficulty down to easy. I truly do believe that any other ending would be a disservice to Jacket. This is how he'd go out. This is literally the perfect ending for him, but it's just not feasible for me. With that in mind, I decided to go down to easy for a specific reason. Sure, I could probably do this on normal or maybe even hard, but for the first time in this video, you guys are gonna get to see a lore-accurate Jacket. Jacket wouldn't be struggling to kill a single guy. He can kill an entire building of armed men so fast that the cops can't catch him or track him down after the fact. So now it's time to see Jacket's true strength. It's time to get violent.
Just like that.
Don't make yourself an easy target!
As to be expected, I completely demolished everyone. It was an absolute slaughter. I was blowing them away with my double-barrel shotgun, I was popping their heads like grapes with Richard's pistol, and I was just bludgeoning them to death with Jacket's iconic baseball bat. Sure, it wasn't challenging, but the power fantasy here was awesome. Then, it was finally time to face the current head of the Russian mafia, the Sun.
Old and stupid. Don't prolong the inevitable. All for naught. Struggle if you wish. This issue, come here. This is beyond you. You spared Oda. So very human and disgusting. Mercy is disgusting. Survival favors the strong. Rain from your skull!
Watch it!
Where is Rogue? Wanted no part of this raid, the old cunt? Once I finish with you, I'll hunt her down! Struggle if you wish! Come, face me. Is this pain? I've forgotten the sensation.
I get it, fine.
Hurry to Mikoshi before they launch another attack.
Bro, that was so satisfying. I think that might be the first time I ever fought Smasher on easy, and it was so cool to just dominate him like that. Well, with that, Alt finally uses Mikoshi to separate Richard and I. Unfortunately, we find out that the road I've been on led to nowhere, or rather, that I've arrived at a dead end, but I already knew that this was gonna happen. As it turns out, I'm no longer compatible with my own body, so I can either keep it and die in half a year, or give it to Richard and then become a spirit. Ultimately, I decided to give Richard my body, and though he tried to convince me not to, I tell him this one's on the house because I know he would have done the same for me. So this is what the end looks like. Beautiful. I guess leaving this world isn't as scary as it sounds. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be on the lookout for my next Cyberpunk run, which will probably be either Lucy or Major Kusanagi. And again, special thanks to Project Orochi for the sponsor. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.